Platinum prices have almost doubled in the last 6 months and gained 30% in the last month alone. So it brings to question, which ASX listed companies do we trade to best capture this? And for a commodity where 70% of the global supply comes out of just one African country, we'd normally go straight to geographies. Geography supply bottlenecks, geopolitical tensions, government overhaul. But this time it's not actually really working, despite South Africa experiencing a once in 100,000 year flood or rainstorm event that was really heavily on that area where most of the world's platinum comes from. But that's not the main factor. It's not energy prices soaring in the country. It's not labour and getting them to the mine site. It's not getting the product out of the site onto market. It helps the prices, but that's not the main driver. And it's not the main reason the ASX companies are absolutely roaring. Some of them up to 300% in that same sort of period. So then we look at the demand side of things and understand, well, we know that the platinum market absolutely fell off a cliff a couple of years ago, and part of that's to do with catalytic converters. Why? Because you and I, we were all meant to be driving electric vehicles in the year 2030. So said Volkswagen, so said Volvo, definitely Tesla, and also Ford. Up until they didn't. About a week ago, Ford came out and said, actually, we're going to go more hybrid. And Volvo and Volkswagen have had similar sort of murmurs. They're all in the same camp as where Toyota are. Actually, Toyota have been there for 2 decades and stood fast on that process and that line. And they're actually ridiculed in the industry for not going 100% EV focus. Anyway, that's not the other focus or the driving force either. It's not the demand side of the equation. Interesting. Then we look specifically in Australia and look at the Australian miners, because what we then try to understand is, are we positioned in a hamstrung event? Are our Australian miners not competitive? All in sustainable costs, are we way behind that curve? And this is where it gets really, really interesting. So at $1,200 per ounce, that's not the answer. At $1,400 per ounce, that's not the answer. But where we are right now, $1,755 per ounce, that is actually becoming very, very critical. It's a key component, which is why the greenfields, the brownfields, and the ASX listed companies that have platinum PGE element exposures are actually still soaring, and why the current spot price makes it really, really interesting now that it's finally rallied this far. So jump on into the video. We're going to unpack that in great detail, which we did a couple of weeks ago, preempting this sort of movement in the market. Check out the video. I'll walk you through what's happening in the market and why these prices are critical for how we trade them on the ASX, and I'll see you there.